And headlines today's Preeti Chaudhary is joining us live from Varanasi at this point. Preeti, it may be the last day of campaigning for Lok Sabha elections, last phase, but clearly a day where we are going to see a lot of A-listers hogging the limelight, be it Rahul Gandhi or Akhilesh Yadav.
You know, Ruchika, the climax of this election campaigning, at least in Banaras, Varanasi, is going to befit what the campaign has been over the last 2 months. What a day it is going to be, Ruchika, because if you look at it, Rahul Gandhi, just another 15 minutes, going to be starting his roadshow from right here. I'll ask my camera person, Prem, to get our viewers a basic view of the sea of white caps and Congress flags there. So, about 15 minutes expecting Rahul Gandhi to come in here, and then in about 3 hours from now, a massive roadshow by Akhilesh from the Samajwadi party kicks off. Later on, we're also expecting yet another roadshow by none other than Arvind Kejriwal. So lots of action, and in the middle of it, press conferences planned by the BJP to maybe deviate attention from what we are witnessing here. Rajnath Singh is expected to hold a press conference at about 10 a.m., trying to time it alongside this mega roadshow. But you know, what we are witnessing right in front of us at this point of time is basically a tit for tat by Rahul Gandhi. It is returning the favor of what Narendra Modi did in Amethi. If our viewers remember, just 2 days before Rahul Gandhi's constituency of Amethi went to polls, Narendra Modi had held a massive rally in Amethi where he had torn into the Gandhis, taken them, even Priyanka Gandhi, taken them point by point, said that he was Smriti Irani's brother and that he would take care of Amethi if Amethi elects Smriti Irani once he comes to power in 7 months' time. We're expecting exactly the same kind of fireworks from Rahul Gandhi's side. This primarily a show of strength from for Ajay Rai. The last 3 days, Ruchika and our viewers would know, have been one road show after the other. We saw Narendra Modi, well, the BJP said it wasn't a road show, but by the end of it, that 3-hour cavalcade, which started off from the Banaras Hindu University, ended at the BJP's election headquarters, was nothing less than a road show. A show of strength by Arvind Kejriwal yesterday. I'm sure even he was surprised the kind of numbers which poured out on the streets supporting him. Huge numbers, massive numbers. We saw a sea of white caps yesterday. And expecting the same today as well, Ruchika, where Rahul Gandhi takes to the streets of Banaras. To give our viewers the route, Rahul Gandhi starts from right here. This is Pili Koti. This area, minority-dominated area. Now, when we're talking about that, why is it so important? Primarily because both Arvind Kejriwal and Rahul and Ajay Rai are targeting the same vote bank, which is the minority. After tying up with Mukhtar Ansari, the Congress might have taken a dent with this particular vote bank. But what we are expecting at this point of time is that another 15 minutes, the roadshow starts from here. It's about 7 kilometers long and will make its way all the way to the Banaras Hindu University. That is where it will end. My colleague Ankit Tyagi is holding forth there. We're going to, of course, get you the ringside view of all the developments as they take place. Once he leaves from here, he's going to go to a Bunkar colony, a weaver's colony. He's going to pass through that. That again, a minority-dominated area. So the thrust very clear by Ajay Rai at this point of time. Over the last 1 week, the narrative of politics in Banaras had changed a little, where the contest seemed directly between Arvind Kejriwal and Narendra Modi. But things changing at least on the ground here, and it's the final day. 6 p.m. campaigning ends. All that all three parties have is just about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours to do all they can to make that final push, final thrust. Expecting Rahul Gandhi to come here and expecting him to speak maybe later on. Earlier on we were expecting him maybe to hold a short rally. He's not going to do any of that. He's going to come here, get onto one of those trucks. Already thousands of people. What we do know, we were speaking to Ajay Rai in the morning, there's a concerted attempt by the Congress cadre to make sure, at least at the face of it, that the numbers on the streets of Banaras, if don't match what Narendra Modi had seen even on the day of nomination, which was the 24th of April, if they don't match, they should be more. That is a standing order. And we are seeing that already. There is a little bit of a security issue, considering the SPG is also trying to clear the area a little for Rahul Gandhi. Commotions taking place at the back, if you can see. Jeeps pulling in. This is a logistical nightmare for the authorities here. Already thousands of people. You know, I'm going to just glance through right from that end All I can see is just people, all the way from there. And then if I turn around and look at the flags, full of Congress flags, my camera person Prem is just going to pick up the camera off the tripod and try and give our viewers a better perspective on what we are witnessing. There you have it. Now this is what we are seeing. All you can see is people. And I believe we were speaking a short while back, we were speaking to the campaign manager of Rahul Gandhi in Banaras. He basically is a campaign manager for Ajay Rai in Banaras. He's also managing the show. And he said that they're expecting over 2 lakh people. And the way we are looking at it, well, the numbers definitely there. And primarily, this is to show that even the Congress in Banaras can at least accumulate as many people as a Narendra Modi. We also saw Arvind Kejriwal do the same yesterday. Over to the studio, we'll keep getting you the latest.
Well, amazing pictures there coming in from Varanasi right now. You can see Congress workers out in full strength on the last day of campaigning in the temple town. The Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has arrived in Varanasi. He will be reaching the venue from where this rally, this roadshow of the Congress party is set to begin shortly. This is one of India's holiest cities and it's witnessing a fierce electoral battle this time around. A lot of symbolism attached clearly. And today, of course, Congress is also trying to pay back for Mr. Modi's visit to Amethi that came just ahead of Rahul Gandhi's election in Amethi. So the Congress also trying to show that it can play the same sort of aggressive politics. These are first pictures coming in. There you can see Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, who has now reached the venue and he will be starting off that roadshow. Large number of people who have come out in support. In fact, Congress is trying to spruce up its campaign, having joined very late in this electoral fight. Narendra Modi, soon after he announced his candidature, we saw the Aam Aadmi Party throw his hat into the ring, and now, of course, the Congress, which is trying to spruce up its campaign with this roadshow of Rahul Gandhi. My colleague Preeti Chaudhary is still with us from the venue, getting us the very latest from there. And Preeti, as we can see from these pictures, this roadshow, it seems, is now going to start. But as we were talking about this unwritten code of Indian politics, where we never saw contestants, particularly the big ones, going to each other's constituency to campaign, that clearly has been shattered. That unwritten code, starting with Narendra Modi campaigning in Amethi, and now Congress trying to pay back in the same coin.
Isn't it, Ruchika? This election, the rules have completely turned on their head. The rules of engagement as well between, between the politicians and the polity, the electorate completely changed, because this time the electorate is smarter, Ruchika, and that's what we are witnessing. All right, we're going to get you shots. Right in front of you, you can see that truck. This is the first stop. Rahul Gandhi's roadshow officially kicks off. On the truck, if I can see from here, I can see Ghulam Nabi Azad, I can see Rahul Gandhi.
Briefly, we've lost contact. We'll just try and reconnect with our correspondent, Preeti Chaudhary, who's getting us the very latest from Varanasi. These are live pictures coming to you from the temple town, witnessing a heated battle this time. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi's roadshow, which is set to begin, and the Congress workers, in fact, party seniors too, have been told by the party high command that they have to make it a grand success. Each state unit chief has been directed, chief ministers have been directed, party workers have been asked to join this show of strength today. It's the last day of campaigning, where Rahul Gandhi is taking out a roadshow in support of their candidate Ajay Rai, countering BJP's show of strength that was put up by Narendra Modi, and of course an impressive show that was put by the Aam Aadmi yesterday in Varanasi. It's the last day of campaign, as we are saying, and last dash by top leaders of all political parties. Later in the day, of course, Akhilesh Yadav too joining in. He'll be holding a roadshow as well. Remember, this is the last day of campaigning for Lok Sabha elections. The last phase of polling now on the 12th of this month, which is Monday, where we'll see 41 seats, and crucially, the seats in Purvanchal region go to vote, which many think would be influenced by the candidature of Narendra Modi from Varanasi, influencing this entire region. So Rahul Gandhi taking on the challenge, in fact campaigning today from the constituency from where Narendra Modi is contesting. He's taking on Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party. Well, Preeti Chaudhary back with us right now, getting us these latest pictures and also reports from ground. So in a way today, this Congress roadshow will also try, Preeti, to debunk the Modi wave, the BJP surge that is being talked about in Purvanchal region. It all depends on the turnout. What is the kind of turnout we're going to see from Congress workers today for Rahul Gandhi's roadshow?
Right. You were seeing it already, Ruchika, aren't we? Massive show of strength, at least at point one. This is where Rahul Gandhi's roadshow kicks off. You can see right there. He's on that truck, flanked by everyone, all the top leadership of the Congress. You can see Ghulam Nabi Azad. I'm just standing on the side. The people I can recognize. Rahul Gandhi, flanked on the left-hand side is Ajay Rai, the contestant from Congress here. You can see Ghulam Nabi Azad. You can see Madhusudan Mistry, the person who's taking on Narendra Modi in Vadodara, because Narendra Modi is fighting from two seats, Vadodara and Banaras. So there you have it, Ghulam Nabi Azad at the back. We're also expecting Salman Khurshid to come in later. And this is planned. This is planned. This is tit for tat for what Narendra Modi did to the Congress in Amethi. It is returning the favor. Narendra Modi, 2 days before Amethi went to polls, Rahul Gandhi's constituency, came to Amethi and tore into the Gandhis and what they hadn't done for the constituency. This is exactly that. And also Ajay Rai, who had pretty much fallen out of the race in the last 1 week, is now back in the reckoning. And everything matters. The last 10 hours matter the most in an election, because come 6 p.m., the poll code will kick in and nobody else will be able to campaign. And this would be the lasting image that the Congress would leave the people of Banaras in. And what a day it's going to be. You know, the climax, Ruchika, and for our viewers if they know, the climax of this campaign in Banaras, in Varanasi, would be befitting the campaign that has been run in this particular city. One rally up, one roadshow after the other. This roadshow of Rahul Gandhi will culminate at about 1 p.m. He's got permission for 4 hours. Then Akhilesh Yadav, the Samajwadi party's roadshow will kick off. In the evening, once again, Arvind Kejriwal's roadshow will take place. You know, the campaign here, at least in the last 1 week, is not about rallies, it's not about taking each other on, it's more about the roadshows and the number of people you can accumulate. A stampede-like situation, if I can, if I can look, and I'm going to just try and screen forward and get a ringside view for our viewers. And all I can see, and I can say that, is just a sea of Congress supporters and flags. In the morning, we were talking to Ajay Rai and we were talking to the Congress cadre. They had one standing instruction, and that instruction primarily was that we want the same, and they used the word Jan Sehlab, which means basically a sea of people. And they were told that what happened on the 24th of last month when Narendra Modi came to sign his nomination, we want exactly the same numbers, if not more. And at least for the first point, because I've covered both, Ruchika, I was here on the 24th when he filed his nomination. I was there when he went on to that roadshow, which he never had permission for, but that was again an exemplary feat by the BJP people and how they turned around that adversity to their advantage. And I'm here today and even yesterday when Arvind Kejriwal was there. The numbers on the streets of Banaras it's amazing. We've never seen so many people come together. So if we're only talking about a comparison, and that's in terms of the numbers who have come out on the road show, then at least from point one, and I'm sure Ankit, who's standing on the final point, will also be able to add to this, at least point one, Pili Koti, where Rahul Gandhi and the top leadership of the Congress began this particular roadshow has at least matched the numbers that Narendra Modi had for himself and the kind of people that came out on the streets. Whether or not this translates into votes, we'll only know when that last vote is counted on the 16th of May. Why this is also very important that Rahul Gandhi start his roadshow from this particular area. We'll just tell our viewers it's a 7-kilometer stretch that he would be covering in the next 4 hours. And the reason why he started from this particular area, this is a minority-dominated area, the same vote bank that Arvind Kejriwal has been eyeing. Arvind Kejriwal also passed through this same place yesterday. Many came out in support for him as well. So the Congress a little on edge, a little worried that vote bank might have been stolen away from them and have decided to start their roadshow right from here. From here on, Rahul Gandhi will proceed to a Bunkar colony, a weaver's colony, and That's again a minority-dominated colony, and from there on, of course, he will be making his way pretty much mirroring the same route that Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal took, and he will end this massive roadshow at the Banaras Hindu University. My colleague Ankit Tyagi has been posted there and will be getting up the very latest headlines today. Correspondent at each spot that this massive roadshow is going to be going through, getting our viewers the ringside view, the vantage point. Our cameras are there to get you, our viewers, the very latest there. So right now, Ruchika, if I'm still with you, massive show of strength, at least on the streets of Banaras. The diktat which was put forth in the morning by Ajay Rai, that being seen, he needs this push. He needs this extra push, especially over the last 1 week, where the contest has pretty much, at least looks like, to be directly against Arvind Kejriwal and Narendra Modi. That's changing right now. Rahul Gandhi wearing the Congress topi, coming in and giving him that added impetus, that push that he so very well needed. It's over to the studio. Headlines Today correspondents will keep getting our viewers the very latest. Back to you, Ruchika.
Well, these are pictures that we are getting to you from Varanasi. You can see the turnout of Congress workers, Congress supporters, and locals who are joining in this roadshow of Rahul Gandhi, the Congress Vice President, as we see Congress sprucing up its campaign on the last day of campaigning in Varanasi. Remember, campaigning ends this evening at 6 o'clock. The Congress today joining the campaign with its massive roadshow. And Preeti, we were just talking about so far the pitch of campaign, and the Congress clearly pitched this election as an outsider versus insider contest, saying the other two candidates are outsiders, they're not natives of the city. But clearly there's been a lot of euphoria over BJP's prime ministerial candidate, as we witnessed from that roadshow, and even Kejriwal, who's had a very spirited campaign in Varanasi.
Spirited campaign, all right, Ruchika, but yesterday with what we saw, there were a lot of people. Like I said, if it translates into votes, we'll only know come May 16th when that last vote is counted. But we saw massive show of strength on the streets. And when now you put it all in perspective, because when Narendra Modi held that massive roadshow, everybody was stunned by just the sheer numbers we had seen on the streets. Never had we seen numbers like that on the streets of Banaras or any other place, if it be. But that was changed. That perception changed a little with Arvind Kejriwal yesterday, where we saw many, if not as much, but very close to what Narendra Modi had in his particular roadshow. And similarly now with Rahul Gandhi. So the games, the rules turning completely. This is not traditional modes of campaign. This is not what happened in 2009, what happened in 2004. Everything has changed. It's more direct contact with people. All three parties have this time around gone directly, spoken to people. No mega rallies. Of course, Narendra Modi has held them, but otherwise directly going to the people, talking to them, holding Nukkad Sabhas, because the rules of engagement when it comes to the politicians and the polity have completely turned. And this, what you see on your television screen, Ruchika, is a classic example of exactly that. We do expect Rahul Gandhi to speak maybe later. We do expect him to take on Narendra Modi, return the favor that Narendra Modi had done in Amethi, where right 2 days before Amethi went to poll, he had come in and spoken to the electorate. They're saying that he's going to change the face of Amethi. We're going to expect Rahul Gandhi to do the same and maybe take on Narendra Modi. And this is what was needed. Ajay Rai desperately needed this. He'd be a happy man today, because till now he's hardly got any support externally from the Congress top brass. He had asked Priyanka Gandhi to come in. Priyanka Gandhi had very graciously declined. And today he has Rahul Gandhi on this mega roadshow. So in terms of numbers, it's a logistical nightmare, that we can tell you. Especially for the SPG. They have absolutely no idea how to manage the crowds. But otherwise, in terms of numbers, massive show of strength for the Congress. Just 10 hours left. 6 p.m. is when the poll code kicks in. All of this needs to stop by then. So each and every party doing their very best to attract eyeballs on themselves in the poll capital of India, which is today Banaras. Each one of them, I'd like to tell our viewers, Rahul Gandhi's roadshow will end at about 1 p.m. It will end at the Banaras Hindu University. After that, Akhilesh Yadav, well, he's embarking on his own roadshow to support his candidate from the Samajwadi party. And then later on, Arvind Kejriwal has another roadshow. In between all of this, Rajnath Singh at about 10:30 a.m. is planning a press conference, trying very hard to distract attention from the Congress roadshow. Headlines Today correspondents tracking every vantage point through the course of this 7-kilometer roadshow of Rahul Gandhi, getting our viewers the very latest, the ringside view of all development. It's back to the studio, my colleague Ruchika there.
Well, these pictures coming to you from Varanasi right now, we are getting you the latest from the ground. There you can see a massive turnout of Congress workers, supporters who've come out in large numbers for Rahul Gandhi's roadshow, last day of campaigning. A last-minute push that we're seeing from the Congress party. Many questioning that whether it's come a little too late in the day for party's candidate Ajay Rai, who's taking on Narendra Modi, BJP's prime ministerial choice, and of course Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party. And Preeti, as we've been saying, the big message that the Congress party seem to be sending across appears to be that if BJP can do it, AAP can do it, so can they, and in fact in a better fashion. That's why this message that was sent out to workers, to party leaders, the top brass, that they have to ensure that this roadshow has to be better than the rest. Because so far, even as far as discussion on Varanasi battle is concerned, the electoral battle, it has been talked about in terms of AAP versus BJP fight, Kejriwal versus Modi fight. So in a way, Congress also, putting their foot in the door and saying, we too are in the reckoning.
And that's the point, Ruchika. Who is the irony lost on? The Congress itself. They could have done this earlier, because till now, the campaign managers of the Congress would be looking at these visuals and would probably be shaking their heads and saying we could have done this earlier. A stronger message would have gone out, because it's coming too little too late in the day. You're at the threshold, you're 10 hours away for the last phase of election campaigning to stop, and then you do something like this. What's the message that's going across? Well, you've been had pretty much, because the BJP's been doing this from day one, since the first phase of election kicked in. So when you look at it, they might, the numbers might be there today, thousands of people, and we saw that in the morning when we spoke to Mr. Ajay Rai. We spoke to the campaign manager of Ajay Rai, and there was a sea of cadre. There was a sea of these young boys there, and each one of them was told, go out and get the maximum number of people on the streets of Banaras. Match what happened on the 24th when Narendra Modi came in to sign his nomination. Match overdo what happened when Narendra Modi held his alleged roadshow, and if not match it, I want more numbers. That was the diktat, and a very strong diktat by the top leadership.